Nope.
What's up, you guys? It's James from James Reptiles. In today's video, we're going to be talking about reptile expos, how to prepare, everything you need to do before you vend a show, and I'm talking about vending. First off, I want to talk about some projects. Right now, there's one specific project I want to do, and it's just I saw these geckos at work, and they were so beautiful, and I said, you know what? I want to get into that. It is more of a leopard gecko. I'm looking at it right now. White and yellow, snow, bell, het, radar. I'll throw a picture of my girl Rosa up on screen. She's a gorgeous girl, gorgeous girl. I'm going to have to take some nice pictures because any of the pictures I took don't do her justice. Pardon me. But I have a white and yellow snow radar female picked out at work that I'm going to purchase hopefully this week. And then I'm looking for a super radar. I'm looking for a super radar male. So super radar is super snow, super max snow, and then radar is bell, albino, and eclipse. So my possibilities there are. Let me start over. My offspring chances, and the reason I picked this little group that I picked specifically is it gives me expensive animals, it gives me lots of color morphs, it gives me really beautiful animals, it gives me lots of different combinations. There's a lot of genes at play, so let's break it down first. There's white and yellow, which the females have, the male don't, so there's 50-50 chance the animals can be white and yellow, give or take. White and yellow is hard to prove out as what kind of genetic trait it is, because it's hard to tell sometimes if an animal is white and yellow. Both the females are snow and the male is super snow, so everything will either be snow or super snow. It'll either have one copy or two copies of the gene. Everything will be bell albino, and most of it will be radar, which is eclipse and bell, except 25% will be bell, het, radar. Now, all those combinations put together, you can have snow, bell, het, radar, super snow, bell, het, radar, snow radar, super snow radar, white and yellow, snow, bell, het, radar, white and yellow, super snow, bell, het, radar, white and yellow, snow radar, and then white and yellow, super snow radar, which of course white and yellow super snow radar is what you want to hit. It's all the genes. Quite frankly, it's probably just going to look like a super radar with a little bit of extra. The markings are just going to go a little higher up towards the back. Lots of variation in that. I haven't decided if I want to separate the females when I do breed this project next year. It'll be interesting. They're just really gorgeous geckos. I can't wait to display them. I think they're going to look great on display. Oh, I didn't mention this is my ball python Steve. Steve is very old. We believe coming up on 17. I'm not sure. Very old guy. My girlfriend's family had him for a long time. But let's get into shows. So let's say you want to vend a reptile show. I'm lucky enough, I live in an area where there are lots of shows within 2 or 3 hours driving distance. There's probably 15 within a 2-hour driving distance throughout the year, and many, many more if you're willing to expand 2 hours to like 8 hours. There's many, many more. So what do you need? Well, in the state of California and most other states, you just need a resale permit or a seller's permit. This is actually very easy. Depending on which options you pick and which tax, it's a tax document, which options you pick, you could pay around $50 or you can get it for free. I got it for free. Come time to do my taxes, I will probably end up paying a little bit, but it is what it is. It's my taxes. You don't want to lie on that. You don't want to end up owing the IRS. That's just a bad thing you don't want to happen. So you have your seller's permit. Now what? Well, You see a reptile show down the road, quite a ways down the road. I prefer. I like to plan my stuff out, so I've got all the shows for the year planned out. You get in contact with them. You send them a Facebook message. You say, "Hey, I want to vend." Maybe even tell them it's your first time. You don't really know what you're doing. You probably want a small booth if it's your first time. You probably don't have too many animals. And then you decide what booth you want. It's usually 10 by 10, a single table against a wall or in an aisle. I like to go for corner booths. I'm willing to spend that extra money. I can sell half the table to a friend, no problem. I've got tons of friends willing to do it. Or when I'm ready, I could take both the tables. But what that does is it gets people in our aisle. It gets me paying less per my one table. And it just assures that I'll have friends right there, which I always have friends. I always know a lot of people. But just because I know them doesn't mean they can take time away from their booth to hang out with me at my booth. So I make sure you purchase your booth. Try to have someone to go with you. It sucks vending alone. It's not as much fun. It's definitely still fun. But it is a lot of money to purchase a table. You have to think about gas going out there. You have to think, time you're taking off of work. It's a lot more work packing your animals, labeling everything. You can't have anything mislabeled. You can't have anything unhealthy. You can't have any diseases or mites or parasites or anything like that. So you're at the show. You have all your animals, or you're just packing your animals. You want to make sure you have enough animals to fill the table. You don't want to just put a couple little deli cups. And I've been there. I put 20 deli cups on a half a table once, and it didn't look good. I mean, I sold some stuff. I made a little bit of money, but this year, Glenn's going to let me borrow one of his displays. Well, not this year. For this specific show, he's going to let me do that. I'm going to put some of his animals on my table in exchange. I did order a nice display case. I'll throw a picture of what it might look like up on screen, or what it should look similar to. It's not going to be exact. It takes a long time. I'm on a waiting list, and then it's weeks and weeks to ship, and I understand that. So I'm looking at around June to receive that, and when I do, I'll be bringing it to every show. And by the time I receive it, I'll probably end up ordering a second one, just so I can fill up 2 tables. They're really nice displays. They look beautiful. They make my animals look beautiful. Can't wait for that. So you have your animals, you have them picked out. You want to make sure they show off who you are and the morphs and species that you work with. You can always bring loose ends and stuff like that, but you really want it to be your main focus. It's your first impression with a lot of people. You want to show them who you are as a breeder. When you get to the show, you want to make sure you get there early. You want to make sure you're taking care of your animals. It's optimal to bring external heat if you're working with something like ball pythons or leopard geckos, something that generally needs heat. It's going to show that they're active and healthy, and some species it's going to help them color up. The last thing you want is your animals looking horrible or even acting defensive. That's not a great thing. You want to show that your animals are healthy and happy. One thing I'll recommend is when you do get there early, make sure you talk to all the vendors. Make sure you get to know everybody. I love chatting with the vendors, seeing how everyone's doing that day, seeing if they're feeling like it's going to be a good show, asking about future shows, see who's doing what shows, chatting them up for sure. And of course, I'm going to bring you guys along with that for all the next shows coming up. Now, the show usually opens early. There's always pre-sale. I find that the people who buy pre-sale are the people who are going to buy the most expensive animals. Those people know they're going to buy something, they're looking for something specific. It's usually something expensive they can't find or they don't want to have shipped. And those are the people that are going to buy your 4-gene animal or whatever. You might sell some throughout the day, but those are going to be your big ticket items before all the bread and butter that comes after with the general public. Now, 2-day shows, depending on how far away they are, you might have to spend the night at a hotel. I wouldn't recommend going out and partying. There tends to be a vendor get together, the night after or the night in between. We're definitely looking forward to that for this show, seeing what everyone's up to. But in previous shows, it hasn't. The only 2-day show was super close, so we didn't, participate in any of that. We just went home. Apologize, my phone's going off. So that's exciting. That's something I don't even know about myself, and we'll figure out as we go. It's pretty important that you don't expect to bring a lot of animals home. One thing that I'm doing right now is I'm actually ordering wholesale animals to help me fill up my table, to help me expand a little quickly, a little more. Help me expand a little more quickly. And one thing you have to understand if you're doing something like that, or if you're trying to produce a ton of animals to bring to the show and you're just making everything a breeder, if it's not good quality and you picked random not good things to breed, or you just bought stuff wholesale, it's not going to sell as well, and you have to sell it for cheaper than you're probably thinking. And at the same time, it's not going to sell as well, like I said, so you're more likely to bring it back. So you have to plan on bringing things back. Go and expect to sell nothing, and you'll be prepared. You're going to end up bringing stuff back. You're going to end up having to set them back up and feed them and do all that stuff and make sure everyone's okay after the show. There's a lot of etiquette too. You don't want to go and price stuff right below someone else, or buy something off of someone's table and put it right on yours. It's not really cool unless you're friends with the person or you know them in a certain way. And then, of course, at the end of the day, there's usually a U.S. ARC auction. I believe it's usually after the first day. I can't remember. So they'll hold a big auction. They'll ask for donations. I usually donate a gecko or something. Not a super expensive gecko, but if it raises $50 for US ARC, it raises $50 for US ARC. What the heck? Why not? Eventually, I'll put some more stuff in. Black Knights, whatever. Beautiful animals. The people buying the geckos aren't going to be breeders for the most part. They're going to be other breeders who breed different species and just want, hey, that's a nice gecko. The money goes to a good cause. Let me pick it up for a good price or whatever. And then you go home. And after all that, you're going to be tired, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to have to put your animals away. And you're thinking, why did I vend a show? And you're going to think about all the friendships you made and all the fun you had and quite possibly all the money you made. And you're going to be like, you know what? Let me do another one. And you'll start to know the show promoters. They're all nice people. I know a bunch of them. There are ones who I want to do their shows just because they're there. There are people who want me to do their shows, and I say, you know what? Of course. So that's it. That's today's video on reptile shows and my future breeding project with the white and yellow super snow radars. I can't wait for those. Anyway, I'm James from James Reptiles. I post a video every other day. I was doing daily, got a little bit too much. Right now I'm doing every other day. Who knows, sometimes there's going to be some extra content in there. Stay tuned, hit the notification bell, subscribe, like, and comment, and all that jazz. Make sure to hit me up on Instagram if you want to see daily pictures of all my animals. Facebook, Twitter as well. You can hit me up on jamesreptiles@gmail.com if you have any questions. And I've got, 2 geckos on Morph Market right now. I don't have enough to put on Morph Market at the moment. Depending on what comes back from the show, maybe I'll put some lower end little groups of crested geckos. That's another thing I want to touch on, and I might do that in a future video. You can post groups of animals on Morph Market, and if you go on Morph Market and you search the term group or groups, one breeder comes up and they're selling groups of adult leopard geckos. Not high quality leopard geckos, but like Tremper Suglos, average Tremper Suglos. You can buy a group of 4 for $300 or whatever. Imagine someone putting crested geckos wholesale like Pangea sells them on their website on Morph Market. Imagine me doing that. Imagine me posting crested geckos I get for $25 a piece, raising them for a month, maybe, putting a couple dollars worth of work into them, and then selling them for $120, $130 for geckos, and then that's all a lot of that's profit. And I think it's an untapped market. You'll see me working my way in there very shortly, figuring it out. Anyway, I'm James from James Reptiles. This is Steve, my ball python. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a little something about the show. If you have any questions about the show, whether you want to vend, whether you want to go, whether you're just curious because it's weird and it's different and you're not used to reptiles, make sure to leave a comment and let me know. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video.